The human body is not a random construction. It is a living temple of intelligence, precision, and divine design. Every cell listens. Every organ communicates. Every system operates in harmony, guided by an invisible wisdom that has existed long before conscious thought. The body breathes intuitively. It heals instinctively. It adapts, regenerates, remembers, and responds with astonishing sensitivity. It is endowed with self-regulation, emotional intelligence, neuroplasticity, and an inner compass that constantly seeks balance, what ancient traditions called homeostasis of the soul. At its deepest level, the human body is not separate from spirit. It is spirit in motion, a biological interface for consciousness to experience the material world. But this divine system is fragile when exposed to chronic stress. When stress disconnects us from our natural state, modern life pulls the body into a constant state of alert. Endless notifications, unresolved emotions, suppressed feelings, fear of survival, lack of rest, overstimulation. The nervous system becomes trapped in survival mode. Breathing becomes shallow. Muscles remain tense. Digestion weakens. Sleep fragments. Emotional regulation collapses. Over time, stress disrupts the body's natural rhythm, creating anxiety, fatigue, inflammation, digestive disorders, emotional numbness, brain fog, and a deep sense of disconnection from the body, from others, and from the self. Instead of safety, the body learns vigilance. Instead of presence, it learns defense. This chronic state silences intuition, blocks emotional flow, and dims access to higher states of consciousness. And yet, the body carries a secret, the hidden superpower, the vagus nerve. Embedded within this divine architecture lies a silent guardian, an ancient pathway, a bridge between body, mind, and spirit. The vagus nerve, often called the wandering nerve, it travels from the brain through the heart, lungs, and gut, regulating emotion, immunity, digestion, breath, and the sense of inner safety. But beyond physiology, the vagus nerve is something more. It is the gateway to calm, the switch between survival and presence, the biological doorway to higher states of awareness. When activated, it returns the body to coherence. When nurtured, it reconnects us to our natural state, grounded, open, receptive, and aligned. It is the body's secret weapon, its hidden superpower. The vagus nerve as a bridge between science and spirituality. For a long time, science and spirituality were treated as separate worlds. One spoke the language of data, neurons, and mechanisms. The other spoke of presence, soul, and transcendence. But the deeper science goes into the human nervous system, the more this separation begins to dissolve. At the center of this convergence lies the vagus nerve. From a scientific perspective, the vagus nerve is the primary communicator of the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for rest, repair, emotional regulation, and internal balance. It sends signals from the brain to the organs, but even more importantly, from the body back to the brain. In fact, most of its fibers are afferent, meaning the body is constantly informing the brain about its internal state. This changes everything. It means consciousness is not created only in the mind. It is shaped by the body. Ancient traditions always understood this intuitively. They taught that awareness expands when the body is calm, grounded, and safe. That the breath, the heart, and the gut are gateways to higher perception. Modern neuroscience now echoes this truth. When the vagus nerve is active and regulated, the brain shifts out of survival patterns. Fear-based circuits quiet down. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for awareness, compassion, and insight, becomes more accessible. This is not just relaxation. It is a change in state. Spiritually speaking, this state has many names: presence, alignment, coherence, inner silence. Biologically, it is vagal activation. The vagus nerve acts as a bridge, translating physiological safety into psychological openness, and psychological openness into expanded awareness. Without this bridge, spiritual practices become strained. Meditation feels restless. Prayer feels distant. Stillness feels unsafe. This is why so many people struggle to stay present, not because they lack discipline, but because their nervous system has not learned safety. The body must feel at peace before consciousness can expand. In this sense, the vagus nerve is not merely a nerve. It is a threshold, a biological pathway through which the divine intelligence of the body allows consciousness to move beyond survival and into presence. Science names it regulation. Spirituality calls it awakening. Both are describing the same doorway: the vagus nerve and states of consciousness. Human consciousness is not fixed, it moves. It contracts and expands according to the internal state of the nervous system. Most people believe their state of mind is created by thoughts alone. But long before a thought arises, the body has already decided whether it is safe or not. This decision shapes perception. When the nervous system is dominated by stress, the body enters survival consciousness. Awareness narrows. Time feels rushed. The world appears threatening or overwhelming. In this state, intuition goes quiet. Creativity collapses. Spiritual sensitivity fades. The body is not designed to contemplate the infinite while preparing for danger. This is where the vagus nerve becomes essential. When vagal tone increases, the nervous system shifts out of fight, flight, or freeze. The body senses safety. Breath deepens. The heart rhythm becomes coherent. Muscles soften. And consciousness changes. Awareness widens. The mind slows without effort. Presence becomes natural. This is not imagination. It is a physiological state. Neuroscience shows that regulated vagal activity allows communication between emotional centers and higher cortical regions. Fear loosens its grip. Attention stabilizes. Inner observation becomes possible. Spiritually, this transition has been described for thousands of years. Monks called it stillness. Mystics called it union. Yogis called it samadhi. Different names for the same inner shift. A regulated nervous system creates the biological conditions for expanded consciousness. This explains why spiritual experiences often arise spontaneously during moments of deep calm, during meditation, prayer, music, or even while resting in nature. The vagus nerve does not create enlightenment, but it opens the door. Without safety, consciousness contracts. With safety, it unfolds. In this sense, awakening is not something we force with effort. It is something we allow when the body remembers how to rest. The vagus nerve is the body's permission slip for transcendence. The divine being and nervous system regulation. Across spiritual traditions, one truth appears again and again. The divine is not accessed through force. It is accessed through receptivity. And receptivity is not a mental decision. It is a bodily state. The divine being, the deeper intelligence, the true self, does not emerge when the body is tense, guarded, or overwhelmed. It reveals itself when the nervous system feels safe enough to soften. This is why regulation is not just therapeutic. It is sacred. When the nervous system is dysregulated, consciousness collapses inward. Awareness becomes dominated by fear, control, and separation. The body contracts, and with it, the sense of identity narrows. In this contracted state, people search for transcendence while remaining biologically defensive. The result is spiritual strain. But when the vagus nerve is active, the body enters a state of trust. The heart rhythm stabilizes. The breath becomes fluid. Internal signals shift from danger to belonging. And something profound happens. The sense of I expands. Presence deepens. The observer becomes still. The boundary between inner and outer softens. This is not belief. It is embodiment. From a biological perspective, a regulated nervous system allows integration between the brain, heart, and gut. Emotion, intuition, and cognition begin to move as one. From a spiritual perspective, this integration feels like alignment, a return to wholeness. The divine being is not something added to the human experience. It is revealed when resistance dissolves. Safety becomes the altar. Calm becomes the prayer. Regulation becomes devotion. This reframes awakening entirely. Enlightenment is not an escape from the body. It is the body remembering how to host consciousness without fear. The vagus nerve, in this sense, is not merely a biological structure. It is the body's way of saying, "You are safe enough to be fully here." And only from that safety can the divine be truly known. Sound therapy and the vagus nerve. Before language, there was vibration. Before meaning, there was sound. The human nervous system evolved in a world of rhythms, heartbeat, breath, footsteps, wind, water. Long before words shaped consciousness, frequency did. The vagus nerve is deeply responsive to this ancient language. It passes through the ears, the throat, the vocal cords, the heart, and the diaphragm, making sound one of the most direct ways to influence its activity. This is why sound is not just heard. It is felt. Low, slow, rhythmic vibrations signal safety to the nervous system. They soften internal defenses, slow the breath, and invite the body out of vigilance. From a scientific standpoint, sound therapy stimulates vagal pathways by engaging auditory input, vocal vibration, and breath regulation. This increases parasympathetic activity and supports emotional regulation. From a spiritual standpoint, sound clears the inner field. Chanting, humming, toning, mantras, and sacred music have been used for thousands of years not as rituals of belief, but as technologies of regulation. When the voice vibrates the throat, chest, and diaphragm, it directly stimulates the vagus nerve. The body receives a message older than thought. You are safe. You can rest. This is why humming naturally calms anxiety. Why chanting feels grounding. Why certain frequencies induce deep emotional release. Sound reorganizes the nervous system from the inside. In regulated states, consciousness becomes more fluid. Emotions move without resistance. Inner silence emerges not through effort, but through resonance. Sound does not force stillness. It entrains it. This may explain why spiritual traditions across cultures, Tibetan monks, Sufi mystics, indigenous shamans, Gregorian chanters, all discovered sound as a gateway to altered states of consciousness. They were not escaping the body. They were tuning it. When the nervous system is harmonized through sound, the mind follows. And when the mind quiets, awareness expands. In this sense, sound therapy is not entertainment. It is nervous system alchemy. A reminder that healing does not always come through understanding, but through vibration. Breath, voice, and vagal activation. Breath is the only function of the nervous system that is both automatic and voluntary. This makes it a sacred doorway. Through the breath, consciousness can speak directly to the body. And through the body, consciousness can change itself. The vagus nerve responds most strongly not to deep inhalation, but to slow, extended exhalation. This is the body's biological signal of safety. When the exhale lengthens, the heart rate slows. The diaphragm relaxes. The nervous system releases its grip. This is not a technique. It is a remembering. Adding the voice amplifies this effect. When breath and sound merge, through humming, toning, chanting, or gentle vocalization, vibration travels along the vagal pathways. The throat, chest, and belly become resonant chambers. The body does not interpret this as noise. It interprets it as regulation. This is why a sigh brings relief. Why chanting feels grounding. Why soft vocal tones can dissolve anxiety without explanation. Voice activates what thought cannot reach. From a neurological perspective, vocal vibration stimulates the vagus nerve and increases parasympathetic dominance. From a spiritual perspective, the voice becomes an extension of breath, and breath becomes prayer. Many traditions understood this intuitively. Mantras were never meant to be recited mentally. They were meant to be felt. The sound of the voice anchors awareness in the present moment. It interrupts rumination. It restores rhythm. In this state, attention settles naturally. The body becomes an instrument tuned to coherence. Breath opens the gate. Voice stabilizes the field. Stillness emerges on its own. This is why regulation does not require force or discipline. It requires resonance. The vagus nerve listens not to intention, but to rhythm. And when rhythm returns, the body remembers peace. Awakening the vagus nerve is not about effort. It is about consistency, gentleness, and rhythm. The nervous system does not respond to force. It responds to safety repeated over time. The most powerful practices are often the simplest. Slow breathing with extended exhalation signals the body that the moment is safe. Inhaling softly and exhaling longer than the inhale begins to restore vagal tone naturally. Gentle vocalization, humming, toning, or soft chanting adds vibration to the breath. The body receives a direct message through the throat and chest, calming internal defenses. Sound baths and therapeutic frequencies work not because of belief, but because rhythm entrains the nervous system. Low, steady tones help the body settle into coherence. Mindful movement, slow stretching, yoga, or intuitive motion reconnects awareness with sensation. When movement is slow and intentional, the body exits urgency. Nature exposure restores regulation effortlessly. The nervous system evolved in relationship with natural rhythms, wind, water, birdsong, sunlight. Presence returns when overstimulation fades. And perhaps most importantly, self-compassion. Healing accelerates when the body is not judged for its responses. Regulation deepens when patience replaces urgency. These practices are not tools to fix the body. They are invitations to remember. Each moment of calm strengthens the vagal pathway. Each gentle repetition rebuilds trust. Over time, the nervous system becomes more flexible. Recovery becomes faster. Presence becomes accessible. And what once felt distant, peace, intuition, connection, begins to feel natural. The vagus nerve does not awaken consciousness by itself. It prepares the ground. And when the ground is ready, awareness blossoms on its own. Perhaps healing was never something you had to search for. Perhaps it was always listening, quietly flowing through your breath, your heartbeat, your voice. The body was never your obstacle. It was always the gateway. Within you exists an ancient intelligence that knows how to soften, how to restore rhythm, how to return to presence. Not through force, not through struggle, but through safety. The vagus nerve is not magic. It is memory, a remembrance of what it feels like to rest inside yourself, to inhabit the body without fear, to allow consciousness to expand because the body finally feels held. When the nervous system calms, the soul speaks. When the body feels safe, awareness awakens. Nothing was missing. Nothing was broken. You were always equipped with this inner power, waiting to be remembered. Had you ever heard about this hidden superpower of your body? Share your experience in the comments. If this message resonated with you, stay connected. Your body is wiser than you were ever taught to believe.